Yeah.
usage. So on that basis, personally, I myself try to use the least of the air con and the least of the fan. That's what I do from my side.
Hmm.
And I'm awaiting to learn more actually. I don't know much about it.
Good. I mean, in fact, Dr. Sanjay is a very perfect person to learn from because he's actually been involved in environmental issues, I think, since his college days or even earlier than that. So,
Wow.
his
Hmm.
wedding anniversary is today. He made sure his wedding anniversary was also today. So,
Oh,
he's such a strong advocate about this.
wow. That's wonderful. Hmm.
Learn from him of how he has lived his life to sort of, you know, really not destroy the environment, but instead promote or even help the environment uh,
Right.
become better.
Yes, I also know planting would help the environment, planting trees.
Yeah.
Although with Hong Kong, with lack of space, we are not able to do much of that. But let's see what.
Actually, Hong Kong has a lot of space.
No, there is a lot of greenery. The government provides a lot of parks and all that way. Not for us to do the work, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
we are fortunate to have parks in
And
Hong Kong.
for sure, there's a lot of green places in Hong Kong, but
Yeah.
what I have learned from Dr. Sanjay ji is that Hong Kong is actually not a good place to do plantation. Like
Ah.
if you go and plant the trees and stuff, because this is something I wanted to do 2 years ago, and it was actually Hong Kong's not a great place to do that.
Hmm.
Because if you
Understand.
plant a tree, you have to really take care of it, and you have to continue to
Hmm.
go and see whether that tree is being planted well, how is it growing, and all that.
Right.
In fact, I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn in this area myself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
And till Doctor is coming, can I ask on recap of yesterday's one? He spoke about the four metals, the lead, the mercury, and but the last two ones, the fourth one, surely I didn't get it. Do you have anybody as a memory who was attending yesterday?
I will send you a.
Okay.
There he is.
Yes, that's great. So we'll mute ourselves.
No, don't mute yet. Let's just make it interactive because this is he will talk, but it's going to be very interactive today. So, good afternoon, Dr. Sanjay. How are you?
Good. I was getting some trouble in getting in, so now finally I can see myself. So I think like I'm in. Yeah.
Oh, before we start, we wished you a very happy anniversary. We just learned today is your
Oh,
anniversary.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's great.
How many years, Sanjay?
Officially 26, unofficially 31.
So good. So today we actually are on our fifth day dedicated to 21 days of therapeutic yoga. And it actually, Environmental Day actually falls perfectly along our sequence of 21 day. In fact, yesterday we were just talking on detox and how, we are actually filled up with toxins. And today is World Environmental Day and how actually we are polluting the environment and how we are creating toxins by using chemicals and we're doing things knowingly, unknowingly, we're destroying the environment and how it's impacting not only the climate, but it's impacting our health and it's impacting humanity. So I am also learning about this subject and I would really like to learn more from Dr. Sanjay and, see his thoughts on this area and then we can make it an interactive session and ask him questions and see what we can do, just taking small green steps or small little steps to become more conscious, to live more consciously basically. So Dr. Sanjay, can you have the floor?
Yes,
Start.
yes. Good. So thanks for coming. Like Sangeeta, most welcome. Nice to see you every day here. Dilip, nice. And then today we are also we started a kind of like a hybrid talk. The hybrid talk means some people are sitting in Naveda's wellness center, and then some people coming on because like now half online or few online or few physical or more physical, few online, vice versa kind of thing. So Sangeeta, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sangeeta, Dilip, can you hear me? Dilip,
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I have just muted myself so there's less disturbance when you talk.
okay, all right. Dilip, can you
And
hear me?
Sanjay ji, I am here. I am very happy to listen to you every day. You are brilliant. Like, we have never heard this kind of talks, like this kind of knowledge nobody has shared so far.
Okay, so today is going to be very interesting again. So that would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So
Good morning.
good morning. Good morning. So today is 5th of June, and people celebrating World Environmental Day. And I'm here actually like share something with you in a format of question and answer so that I can inspire you a little bit and make you understand to contribute our part for the community or for the planet. Okay, just like that. So I'm a hardcore, I use myself like I'm as a very hardcore, dedicated environmental kind of person who dedicated my life, my whole life from my childhood into this particular field. And as a result, even I married on a World Environmental Day today. Okay, I chose a day, so you can imagine that like 26 years or how long I am into this environmental field. Okay, so it's a passion, shows the passion. I don't own any car. I have only one son, so my ecological footprint or my load to or my cost to the planet is very low. So the whole topic today is you have to ask first question, what is your cost to the planet? Right? We always talk about your cost of living. Your cost of living like $50,000, $60,000, you are a low maintenance guy, you are a high maintenance guy. Yes, we understand.
You got, can we hear?
Yeah, you can hear me. Then I ask a new question today. What is your cost to the planet? Because you are taking oxygen right now, we all are breathing, right? This oxygen belongs to the planet, not to us. We are drinking water. Water belongs to the planet. And some middleman came in between and started cleaning the water and selling you the water. You are buying the water from the middleman, not from the planet. From the planet, it's available free of cost to you. So there's a lot of stuff which is available from the planet free of cost to you. And you are using that, and we have to use it to live our life on daily basis. If the planet take away oxygen from you, the planet take away water from you, doesn't matter how rich or poor you are, you vanish in no time. That's the reality. So today, because I'm a very passionate guy on this field, so I want to tell every person very passionately to understand how the world is going wrong. People are too busy in their own life. People can be removed in just like this. If the planet just move like this, the humanity will go, the biodiversity will go with just one blink like that, disappear. Imagine how long you can survive without oxygen. 30 seconds? Yeah, 20 seconds? So this is the question for you to understand how long you can survive without oxygen. Even you hold your breath, The oxygen which is inside your body is circulating in your different organ. So the reality is that even we are so much dependent on this planet that even 1 second or 10 seconds we cannot live without oxygen. How many days you can live without water? You see the design of this planet. We have a 72-73% of ocean water, but it's not drinkable. And we are losing the drinking water resources so fast, right? So I touched this two key point today. One is the oxygen, one is the water. It doesn't belong to us, it belongs to the planet. And we are every day using it. And the moment we stop using it, we will die. Okay. So we as a human being, we don't have to think we are like supreme of something. We are the part of the biodiversity. So this is the key word you have to understand again today. One of the most important keyword to learn in life, that we are only one species of the part of the biodiversity which hold billions of species on this planet. So it's a planet ecology. Okay. The planet ecology, when the planet had designed the oxygen, planet had designed water, planet had designed everything, right? And then the planet has designed its own biodiversity. What is the meaning of biodiversity? Is the range of the species who are surviving, whether it is a plant or animal, right? So even the plant, they are the part of the ecosystem. So you cannot call, or a human being cannot call ourselves we are supreme, because we are a human being and then we are using other resources. This is the first mistake happened with the people, that because we are the part of the system, we are not the top of the system, but we started behaving as we are top of the system. So even those who are our colleague, the biodiversity, we started using that biodiversity as a resources. The idea is we cannot use those biodiversity as resources because we are also a part of the biodiversity. So there is a theory which I give I give a lot of lecture on an international platform. Two things. One is extinction of the human species. Think about that. How long we are going to live on this planet? Are we living on 40, 50, 60 more years, or the human species will disappear? That's the one question. And it's a very serious topic in our scientific community. Second is, we became an irresponsible citizen. Because today is the World Environmental Day, and the topic is the effect of the climate change affecting the humanity. So the topic is the climate change, and humanity is the victim, right? But the climate change doesn't happen automatically. It's a human species, a certain human percentage of the human species got involved into the irresponsible behavior. So over the time period, it started destroying the natural balance of the planet. And as a result, everything started going wrong. So, okay, I can take certain beautiful example to make you understand. Because we have everyone knows yoga here. So we do yoga to fix our body. Okay. Why we want to fix our body? Because we want to have our metabolic system properly, our immune system properly, our hormone system properly, everything run properly, right? We want to be fit and healthy. Planet also want to live healthy. Planet doesn't want to throw you 10 typhoons and cyclones. climate doesn't want to go like too hot in the winter or too cold in the summer, right? See what is happening. The planet is sick. In a sick planet, we are talking about healthy body. Isn't it we fooling ourselves? We are fooling ourselves. We expect a healthy body in a sick planet. You can only, and we talk about consciousness in the sick planet. How can the consciousness, the energy system and when the planet is disturbed, everything is got disturbed. How you can see that? You see the number of flooding coming in the last 20 years. You see the number of cyclones coming in. You see the numbers of typhoon, the range. You see the number of like drought, no rain, no monsoon, shortage of food. Okay, there is a civil war going on. This is another topic today I will touch. Do you know how much food is left in the world? There's no food left, my brother, in the world. The food what you see is not enough. It's going to disappear very soon. That is why very big companies right now doing the scientific research on creating the food. Food is going to be a big crisis in coming days. Okay. So like that, you look everywhere. We are living in a sick planet. And the planet is decided to do yoga. And when they decided to do yoga, the planet decided to do yoga. Like you decide to do yoga to fix yourself. Suppose planet decided to do yoga and fix planet. What they are going to do? They are going to eliminate you. Isn't it? Because you are the problem for the planet health. So that's exactly what we are saying. That what we do in order to try fix our health, we try to remove every bad things from our body. So human has lost the rights to say save the planet. You have no one to say save the planet. Planet is deciding whether you should stay in this planet or not. If you don't, so they are giving you the indication, correct yourself, behave yourself. If you don't behave, you will be eliminated. Okay, you will be eliminated. And when you will be eliminated, you will not come to know how fast you are eliminated. You're gone. Dinosaur disappeared, right? We all know dinosaur disappeared. Why? In our biological science, we teach it's a universe intelligence system, which relies the way the species growing on this planet is so huge and humongous that is the planet cannot handle that kind of thing. It's not meant to be like that. So the planet intelligence has decided that we have to eliminate this species and again have to restart a new way. And that's why you see, like, when you see some kind of like these rhinosaur species, it looks like something like a mystical or like a magical world we are living. And that's what planet recognized. They eliminated them and they created a new, smaller biodiversity range. And that's what we are here. We cannot see the people like those who are 15 feet tall, 20 feet tall, 80 feet tall. But that's what planet started, but it corrected their mistake. So planet has a lot of evidence over the time period where they corrected their mistakes. Okay. So this is another phase we are going on where planet is so sick and they are in a process of correcting their mistake. So as a correcting of their mistake, they started giving you certain kind of warnings. Warning coming is what way? See the flood. Flood always happen. But a type of floods is coming. It's an indication that, hey, there's something going wrong. So I explain you in this way. If you fall down, you bleed. We all bleed. If we have a cut, we bleed. But there will be the bleeding, normal bleeding. But when you have a bigger wound, you will bleed more. You have a serious wound, you will bleed like crazy, right? Now relate to the planet. If the flood is very severe, which means it's not normal, right? Flood is normal. Flood comes, goes, and like water level go up and water level go down. But flood for many months, destroying people, destroying habitat, everything, right? That's the one thing. So that's where you have to measure. Like whenever you talk about your health, immediately you make your colleague is your planet. Think about the planet health. The way you are trying to fix your health, planet is also trying to fix its health. And when the planet is going to fix its health, that's where all this. So corona, for ecological point of view. So ecology, the word ecology. Ecology means the nature balance. The planet, its species, its resources. So the life and non-living material. Coexistence in a harmony or in a balance. That's the ecology. Environment is what? As actually like the environment is a man-made word. So there's a difference, like you should ask, because there's another word called the ecology. So I use mostly the ecology because ecology is like more close to the nature. Environment is man-made. Okay. So when we say the man-made things, like we made a dam, so we can say environmental damage. Okay. But when we kill the jungles, or we destroy the jungles, or we destroy some kind of habitat, we say ecological damage. So there's an ecological damage, there's an environmental damage. Environmental damage is man-made damage, right? So the climate change is the man-made damage, right? Because we are doing a lot of gas production. So climate change, coming to the climate change. Need a reconfirmation, everyone understanding so far what I'm saying? Yeah. The point here today, I'm talking about our cost to planet. And people don't understand this particular thing, right? So we need to calculate the cost to the planet. I have a beautiful book with me. I want to show all of you. This is a massive campaign going around the world, which is like, let's see, this is kind of thing. It's a zero waste solution. Okay. This is a group I'm involved with. And this is a beautiful chart I want to show you over here. And this chart is showing the ecological footprint. And you see what is the funniest thing. The India and China have the highest population, but they have the lowest ecological footprint. And where the US is number 1, Europe is number 2, like that. Okay. So what we need to understand, it's not about the population. It's not about the factories. Okay. If everyone say China is the world manufacturing hub, then the China's footprint has to be the highest in the world. But that's not true. The America, the USA has the highest footprint, carbon footprint or ecological footprint in the world. Because the per person cost to the environment or to the nature is very high. So what is the meaning of cost to the one per person? So every day you take a shower. So first question you have to ask yourself, have you ever noticed how long you take your shower? I never came across with any person who monitor the time of taking shower. We talk about the wellness. We talk about like the biological clock. Why we don't talk about the environmental clock? When you say 6 hours of sleep, why can't you make a rule of 5 minutes of shower? The showers go with mood, like sometimes you are happy, you go for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even 20 minutes. Sometime when you are hurry, your shower finish in 3 minutes, right? So you decide to sleep 6 hours, 8 hours per day as your biological clock, but your environmental responsibility, we have no room in our life because it deals with your personal life, right? So shower range shift from like move between 2 minutes to 30 minutes or even sometime more, right? Now, if you're taking a shower, do you know like how much water has drained out during that particular time? Have you ever measured that? This is the first thing in all around the world. Every day, a one single person is wasting how much water every day. And that is why sometimes we say, hey, the Indian way of taking bath is better because we use the bucket. And once we have a one bucket, we know like this one bucket, we have to finish our bath. So you know your calculate this much water you are wasting or using, that's it. So there is a kind of a ratio that how much water one should use every day. And most of the developed city around the world, the calculation is not calculated. Okay. So we have no control on our water, right? We can control over our money. We know like we go out and we don't spend over $400, $500, $1,000. You will not going to spend $10,000 without any purpose. But you spend water because it doesn't cost you. You drain out because you don't pay money to buy it, right? So that's what the psychological thing with the environment is, that we don't pay, we don't care. We have taken granted. And that's why we have abused the environment, because we don't have to pay for it. So one is the water, how much water we use. All around the world, there's a lot of research on water. Lot of research on the water. The number of hours or minutes you take to take a shower or bath. Okay. So you have to make sure from today onward, please start noticing the duration of your shower or bath. And then it will automatically in 1 month time period, it will give you a rough idea how much water you are using. That is your cost to the natural resources. Okay, that's one thing. Second big thing, as I said, oxygen. We all know the trees absorb the CO2 and release oxygen. And that is why everyone is talking about planting a tree. Why planting a tree? Because it's not about how much tree we have. It's a wrong. I was just hearing about like when I was trying to get in the percentage of the area Hong Kong has trees. So it doesn't work in this way. It's not about Hong Kong. It's a total global, because the air is going up and it's distributed. So it is not a physical thing that, okay, I give it to you. It is spread in the vacuum everywhere. So that it's work in the ratio system. There has to be ratio. Ratio is the human versus tree ratio is declining. So whatever the total amount of oxygen we are breathing. But you see, what is the funniest thing, which people never realize that? It's not only like people see human beings are breathing. Come on. Dogs are not breathing. Chickens are not breathing. Animals are not breathing. Everyone is breathing. But our psyche is say, we only see ourselves and relate ourselves with the tree. No. Tree versus all the biodiversity. Every animal on this planet, those who are breathing, taking oxygen. Okay. And that is the beauty of the nature. You cannot take, siphon or remove the oxygen for yourself, doesn't matter how rich you are. There's an X amount of the oxygen in certain place is left, and then if the element coming there or tiger coming there, they will get the oxygen, you will be run away from there, right? So human is actually weak when the survival of the competition comes in place in the planet. And that's the rule of the jungle. The jungle is designed in such a way. What is the definition of jungle? It's a full of plants, full of oxygen, full of animals, enough oxygen to breathe for every animals. That's called the ecosystem. Then there is a river. There's a cave. See, no one made this kind of things. Jungles are the natural habitat. They have a trees. They have the like river. They have caves. They have oxygen. They have fruits. They have nutrition. They have everything. So inside a jungle, there's a vegetarian animals are living, and there's a predators like non-vegetarian, what we call the predators. They're also surviving. But everything is working as a law of nature. So, can you change the rule of jungle? No one can change the rule of jungle. Same here, we cannot change the rule of the planet. We think we can change, but we cannot. Okay, so the oxygen is the second thing. The content of the oxygen is reducing because the biodiversity is so big. So again, all the fish, imagine that millions and billions of fish in the water, they also want oxygen. It's not only you. So say for example, if take an example of Hong Kong, right? If Hong Kong has so many trees, so we say, wow, there's so many trees. And we see in our relationship too. So 7 million population and so many trees. No. The total population of Hong Kong may be 50 million. Okay. If you see ecologically, the population of Hong Kong will be more than 50 million. Human population is only 7 million. Now you include all the fish. You include all the animals. You include every animal who breathe oxygen is a part of the population. Now you compare that with the amount of the oxygen is releasing by tree. That's how it works. Okay, so oxygen. We are not having enough oxygen because oxygen is shared by different people. So that's the second thing. So our cost is we are taking oxygen from the planet, but we are not putting back enough oxygen creating system, which is the planting the tree. Now again, planting the tree doesn't solve the purpose. You need to know which kind of tree grows in which kind of area, what amount of oxygen they release. Usually the massive tree plantation are done by the government or NGOs. But there in Hong Kong, for example, you will see all the side, like most of the trees are the same. We call this, the species called acacia. This is the acacia tree everywhere. It's a very low maintenance tree. Means you don't have to irrigate it. You don't have to give the water and they will survive. But question is that tree release a lot of oxygen? The answer is no. There's so many better trees which release much more oxygen, even equivalent to the 20 trees of acacia which is planted in Hong Kong. So again, it's a deep topic. I don't want to go detail into this, but have to understand that plantation of the tree is a very generic word. It's a very technical kind of things, like you need to plant the tree, select the tree which release the high amount of oxygen, and which is like a proper maintenance tree or low maintenance tree, a lot of things, and also able to absorb the pollution from the air. Okay, so that's the kind of things. After water and oxygen, coming to the third part. Third part is habitat. Habitat means we are use the word habitat. We have a land, we have a water, we have a fresh water, we have a sea water. So what happened, like all this biodiversity, they are acclimatized to live in different kind of habitat. How we can understand this? That some people can live in a sub-zero temperature, like Eskimo people, like we heard about Eskimos. So their body is adopted. And some people can live, we call it warm tropical. So I'm giving you some technical word which people hardly use, but this is the word. We call warm tropical. Warm tropical places are actually, it's a Caribbean, Mexico, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, South India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, North Africa. This is the warm tropical belt, the central part of the world. As you go up, it's called temperate. It's like during the winter, we have the snow. Okay. And then we go in the southern, it's the same thing, but very south, you have a snow. So now the world is designed in that in such a way, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So you will see when we have a summer, Australia will have a winter. And when Australia has a summer, we have a winter. The season keeps shift. So the season in the northern part of a hemisphere is different from the southern part of the hemisphere and keep changing. So the any plant, any species, anything grow there, they acclimatize according to that, and their body become used to of that kind of climatic zone. Now what is happening? We are, as a human being, we think we are living. No, we are living with the nature around us. So it's a very interesting and little bit mystical thing, but you need to understand this. Right now we are breathing oxygen in Hong Kong. I am breathing right now oxygen in Mount Shan. Someone is breathing in Chim Sa Choy. Someone is breathing in different part of Hong Kong. Is it the same oxygen? Is it the oxygen created by the same mechanism? Is the density of oxygen is same? Or so many questions there. Okay, so today again, not going into that detail. This is very technical stuff. We are breathing oxygen, but we are all not getting the same oxygen. There's a difference. Okay, so there is a question related to habitat. Habitat means your surroundings, where the people live. So one of the main thing is the animal, the biodiversity habitat. I want to give one example of very beautiful example of Hong Kong, which very few people knows about it. How many people know Hong Kong is the world most famous home for pink dolphin? Okay. So Hong Kong is the only place in the world where pink dolphin lives. Pink dolphin. Pink dolphin. Okay. And pink dolphins, most of the place where they live in between Lama Island or Lantau Island to the west part of the central harbor. Okay. So that's their belt where they can freely move and go a little bit further down there. But again, many people knows that is the highest traffic area, whether for the ship container or for the boats and the ferries. 20 years back, we have more than 100,000 pink dolphins. Remember this. Okay. Now, even we don't left 1,000 alive. Most of them, they are died with the accident from the ferry or different kind of thing. So that's how the human behavior, like we don't see them and we destroyed one of the most beautiful species in the world. And today, if you go and talk to the people in Hong Kong, hey, have you ever seen pink dolphin? They will say no. So that's what I call it shame. That's what a reflection is. It's a shame that you live in Hong Kong. God has given you pink dolphin, which is the dream for other people to see that, and you don't see them by living many years in Hong Kong. This is the reflection of the personality that allow you to understand, like, no, my life is decided. I have a programmed life. I don't like a human. There's a difference. When you live like a human, you notice the nature around you. But when you live like a programmed life, you only see what you're programmed with. That's what the whole thing about the ecology, and that's what the whole thing is about. That's why we have a lot of conflict with spiritual people, because the environmental awareness is the first step of the spiritual awareness. When you're not connected with your nature, how can you be spiritual? Right? You don't want to connect the nature around you, and you want to connect with the universe, which no one has seen. Nature is your medium by which you are going to connect with the universe. So that any person who know their surroundings, they know the nature very well. So what we are doing, we have killed a lot of tigers, we have killed a lot of dolphins, we have killed a lot of beautiful animals. So that's called the endangered species now. Okay. So what happened, like the human species has created so much havoc that we have destroyed the home for many beautiful species in the world. So they don't know how to live. So they migrated, and then they cannot adopt very well, and they further die. So we are responsible for reducing the biodiversity. That's the third thing happened. Fourth thing, eating habit, party, food. Any person who eat, party, and food, they never bother about the keyword called food mileage. Food mileage is the most important ecological indicator. The whole world is going and learning about food mileage. So in order to reduce the ecological burden, we need to understand the word about the food mileage. What is the food mileage? What is the food mileage? Veena, listen, listen. I'm talking something very interesting. Pay attention here. Food mileage. Hong Kong, we don't have agriculture. Okay. So in your food, maybe there are 5 items today. For example, right? So one item is coming from Brazil. Another item is coming from Mexico. Another item is coming from Australia. Okay. And it's all ending up on your plate in Hong Kong. Now, the distance from, so suppose you have like a one item which is traveling from Brazil to Hong Kong. Say what, 6, 7, 8,000, 10,000 kilometers from here. The another item is coming from Canada, the another 10,000 kilometers. Another item coming from Europe, another 8,000 kilometers. Australia. So actually what we don't realize that in our lunch plate, dinner plate, or party plate, we have a total food which travel over 100,000 kilometers. Now think about it. How much gas, the gasoline, the petroleum being used to bring that food. That is your cost to your food plate to the planet. This food is not simply your food. It traveled 10,000 100,000 kilometers to you. Now you calculate, in order to fly 100,000 kilometers, how much gas being burned and went into the environment as a carbon emission. Okay, that is why sustainability means local farming, local consumption, reducing food mileage is the new slogan of the life, or new mantra of the life. All the wellness aware people are taught that please support the local farmer, reduce the food mileage, buy locally, maximum 200, 300 kilometer, 500 kilometer at the most. More you reduce your food mileage, your cost of burden to the environment will reduce a lot. This is regarding the food, okay? Because you see, like every day we are eating food, and how much is coming from very, very far places. So for Hong Kong, it's still, because we don't grow much stuff, but it's still advised to bring it from Thailand, Philippines, surrounding things, so you can reduce, rather than bringing the same thing coming from Panama or like Brazil or South America. There's no need for that. That's what people need to understand. Now look into Hong Kong. Go outside, ask the question from where our banana is coming. Why need to bring banana from 10,000 kilometers far to Hong Kong? Means, is China not producing banana? Is Philippines not producing banana? Is Sri Lanka not producing banana? Thailand not producing banana? India not producing banana? Why banana has to come from South America? So this is the awareness. We need to have that. So we have increased our food mileage a lot. With the food mileage, I want to add another thing, is the non-veg eating. The non-vegetarian food is actually, when we say eating vegetarian and non-vegetarian, there is an ethical issue, but I will not talking about the ethical. I want to talk the environmental issue. The cost of producing non-vegetarian food is so high that you can Google it and you can check it, like, okay, in order to grow one chicken or one goat or lamb or beef, how much carbon is emitting. Okay, how much carbon is emitting. So that is cost to your non-veg plate. So on top of food mileage is also the cost of carbon emitting into the atmosphere by producing this non-vegetarian food. That's we need to understand. Okay, so the food is the another one. Now the final, because we have so many things, but I want to confine this, and final is our traveling. How much we are traveling. In the aircraft, we have a few seats of first class, we have a few seats of business class, and then we have a lot of economy class. But suppose we are all going to Mumbai, say for example, doesn't matter whether you travel in first class, you travel in business class, or you travel in economy, we all land in Mumbai, right? The people who play the first class doesn't land in somewhere extra special Mumbai, right? They have to land in the same place. Imagine for a moment, at home, you have a big chair. And then you can spread your leg and things like, very nicely. You see the human mind. Just we want to spread our leg, we pay double the fee, like double the amount to buy the business class. Just because to spread the leg. Airline business, right? How the world has converted into the marketplace, that's what we have to understand. But the fuel, with the space you have occupied in the aircraft, in the first class or business class, 4 more passenger can be accommodated. So your carbon footprint is equivalent to the 4 other people, those who are traveling into the economy class. So your cost to the planet is more. So that is one thing, that how you travel. If you do the luxury travel, you have too much carbon footprint. How much you travel? If you're traveling again and again, then again you have a lot of carbon footprint. How much you travel locally? If you locally travel again so much by using your own car, then again you are costing. But again in the car, whether you are driving the diesel car or petrol car, if you're driving the diesel car, again your cost is very high. These are the things we have ignored. And as a result, what happened? The invisible carbon is going into the atmosphere and it warms the atmosphere. And then you can see like all the seasons keep changing, the flood, cyclone, and all the bad things start happening, right? So it's a vicious cycle. And if we don't stop it now, so the point is, okay, we have witnessed, we have seen like the cyclones, we have seen the flood, we have seen the droughts, we have seen everything. But environment, like the planet is telling us, are you happy to see this? Or I give you a little bit a second layer of it. If the planet give you second layer, can we handle it? Now, what is the meaning of the second layer? We already have a corona. Millions of people got infected, right? If you go to the second layer, the planet will give you something which 3 times, 4 times more people get infected. Now we have seen like to deal with this, we have a 4 months lockdown. Can the world survive with 2 years of lockdown? Reality check, right? Can we survive? Answer is no. We have an earthquake, 3.4, 4.5, 4.6, 8.2, 9 earthquake in Hong Kong. Are we sitting and talking? We gone like this, right? How stupid is the human race? Think about it. I'm a hardcore environmental guy. I'm very deep into it, and I am with the top community around the world. We know what is happening. We have all the data, and we feel so pity about it. And that is why the planet is already on the process to remove the human species. Okay, the human species will be eliminated, and you see that corona is there, cyclone is there. The cyclone, most of the cyclone in the past was always originated in the northern hemisphere, from the central to go to north. You never heard the cyclone coming in Australia and South America and down there. When was the last cyclone you heard in the east coast of India? That's the question. You have to go and look into it. When was the last cyclone, the east coast of India, west coast of India, sorry, Mumbai? Find out and you will find the answer. So many new things started happening. These days you travel in the air. Almost every flight has a turbulence. How many turbulence you had before 20 years back? Very little turbulence, like so many turbulence. Rain, heavy rain, all this. These are the indication. So I hope like what I try to say to you, that we have created a mess. Okay, this is the thing. We have really created a mess and our planet is sick. So planet, the message here for the human being, that we cannot heal the planet. This is a warning coming to us that planet had enough of us. So we need to correct our act. And if we don't, we will be eliminated. Okay. So the takeaway message is cost your burden to the planet. Calculate your cost or your burden to the planet. Watch small things. So maybe after 1 or 2 months, you may be able to see. So whenever next time you have a lunch on your plate, try to do a little bit exercise that see like which item came from which part of the world and calculate the food mile. Type the food mileage on Google and you will immediately understand one of the very big serious topic around the world, food mileage. So one way you help the planet by reducing your food mileage. Second, you can help the planet by reducing your consumption of the water. Like that, you can take many small steps. And I have this beautiful program I call 60 Days to the Wellness Paradigm Shift. It's not a small program, like it's a habit, right? So it's a habit changing kind of thing. So Veena, that is all from me. Like I hope like I managed to give my message very clearly. And if you all have some questions, please feel free to ask me.
Yes, so that was a very interesting, wow. I really have become more interested in this topic and I would love to learn more and more and more and change myself. So anyone wants to ask any questions on the floor?
Yeah, Dilip
Can
bhai.
I ask?
Yes, please.
I want to know, since you're saying the food has to travel so much, but can Hong Kong do farming a lot?
There
The
is
Hong
like,
Kong land is so fertile.
see what happened, like it's a very interesting. One of my colleague, Professor Ron Hill, he wrote beautiful book. It's called The History of Agriculture in Hong Kong.
Okay.
So that's what it is, right? The Hong Kong was the agriculture and fishing village. Hong Kong was never meant for a Hong Kong. It was an agricultural land, right?
Ah, okay.
Hong Kong used to produce a huge amount of rice, like a lot of agriculture activities. That's what exactly, like we have destroyed Hong Kong and create a concrete jungle with a plantation. Now there is a history like why Hong Kong has so many trees. I will explain this in some other time, but it's not a ecologically planned plantation. It's like related to the Second World War. During the World War, when the Japanese army attacked the China army, so China army need a place to hide. So that is why there was a plantation being done during that time, so the army can hide and avoid from the Japanese. So that's a beautiful history behind the so much plantation here. But as far as the agricultural land is there, yes, we have destroyed and not using the agricultural land. Now all
So
the developers, yeah, all
we
the
should
developers.
start using it.
No, some people are doing. That is why again, there's a lot of small farms came up, right? And then you can buy from them. And Kaduri agriculture botanical, like a Kaduri agriculture garden, okay, Kaduri farm in Kempton took that initiative. I will suggest everyone, like at least once in your life, you try to visit Kaduri farm. That will inspire you a lot to become like a little bit motivated towards the green issue.
Should we, maybe we will, Naveda can arrange some.
Yes. Why not?
How do you spell Kaduri?
Kadori, Kaduri. This Michael Kaduri.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that's how it is. Okay, so Hong Kong health. So what I'm saying, reducing the food mileage means if you can bring the food, or suppose you are not growing, you can bring the food from India, you can bring the food from Thailand, you can bring the food from Philippines. Okay, you can do the food safety checking, you can bring the food from China, Uh, why to bring food from South America? That's the key question. Okay, when like this is my question to think, like when you can get a banana from Thailand, no need to bring the banana from that. So that's the environmental hazard. Yeah.
I have a question, Sanjay ji.
Yes, please.
Yeah, now, for example, we are Indians and we are born and brought, at least for me, I'm born and brought up in India, and then marriage brings me here. So what about suppose our systems, body systems, if they are used to certain kind of eating food? Of course, we have Indian stores where we buy our groceries, for example. So to be environment friendly, suppose if you switch to only the locally grown food, okay? So internally, does it have any impact onto our systems which are used to particular kind of a, like any particular cultural food?
Okay, good question. So there's a new branch of science, we call it epigenetics. Epigenetics, A-E-P-I, epigenetics. What is the definition of epigenetics? When we move our body from geographical location A to geographical location B. So say for example, many of us, we are born and raised in India, and in certain time of our life, we shifted to Hong Kong and started living over here. So what happened, like our genetic feature and our body biochemistry will automatically will start converting to the demographic area where we live. And then the body will acclimatize automatically. So that's the new field, is called the epigenetics. So therefore, many people, those who are living in Hong Kong, adopted eating a Hong Kong food, and like there are a lot of Indians who eat all kind of foods, like Hong Kong food here and there, whatever available in Hong Kong. It become the part of their system. And then you see there are a lot of Indians in Hong Kong have a good longevity. Good longevity means you can find a many Indians, those who are very healthy at the age of 75 and 80. So I know a large number of people in Hong Kong, Indian people, who are 75 plus and is still very healthy. That demonstrates, and they are eating a lot of Chinese food, or involved in the local kind of thing. Now, this is the first part. But what I'm saying, India is okay because the food mileage is not very far. We are close. India is 4,500 kilometers. Now, what we are saying, in your table, if you have a 10 items and 10 items is coming from 10 different countries, that is not very environmental friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you have items which is coming from the nearer country, that's the way to reduce. We cannot correct it, but we can reduce it.
But I'm thinking, like, you know, like we have the impact of food on the mind too. When yoga talks about the impact of the food on the mind. So with the travel, the air element also must be increasing in those kind of foods. Any idea on those you have?
Can you repeat again the question?
Like
Exactly.
you see, as per Ayurveda, the different food have the different properties. Like some will be more in the air element, some will be more in the kapha element, some will be more in the vata element. Yeah, the air element. So does the transportation also increase the vata element? Any idea on that?
See, exactly. So what is happening when you want to fulfill, there are two kind of things. One is called theory, and one is called science. Science keep changing all the time. Okay, because science is based on the latest investigation, right? So Ayurveda is a theory, it's not a science. It's a science of that particular time then when it was invented. This is the one thing everyone has to understand. Our genetic is not exactly the same which was 5,000 years back. Okay, so there's a lot of genetic changes right now. So today the genetic structure of the body, so the Ayurvedic principle has to fulfill the current genetic makeup. If it doesn't fulfill the current genetic makeup, then it's obsolete, because in any system we call the system become obsolete. means it's outdated,
I see.
right? So Ayurveda need to be validated by the current science that these theories are applicable in today's science.
Right.
But you can use the same language, same principle, because this is a belief system, right? So today what is happening in today's world, in the scientific world, in my language, Ayurveda is a ancient Indian science. We have to put the word ancient,
Mhm.
means it is a certain time period it was developed. And then there is a belief system, and many people are still practicing that system. But we add one line to that, that because we have a lot of new scientific information, so we have to do the value addition in our Ayurvedic principle by adopting the new information of the science.
Understood.
Then we can maximize the benefit of Ayurveda. So as you said, if the food mileage or transportation of the food and other environmental food will change the vata kapha or that system, I would put in another way, I will say yes, any environmental things which is not in an eco balance, it immediately change its energy system,
Right.
right? So the anything which is not in the norms of the ecology is no more into the balancing mode.
Correct.
So how we can justify Ayurveda? Ayurveda is a part of the ecosystem, right? So here we are talking about the bigger system, the ecosystem, balancing, the balancing of the nature.
No, of course, my mind went to our personal balancing too, because yoga is all about balancing our personality. And so I thought it's quite correlated. So that's the reason I wanted to have more clarification. But I understood it's off topic, but still it has some relevance to me at least. So I'm
No,
thankful.
I want to help you to understand this here. What
Yeah.
is happening, because we are keeping, like other day when we talk about therapeutic yoga, right? So what is happening, Sangeeta, like many universities now, yoga, we are having a proper scientific research by involving. The
Yes.
same like we are having, like we call the ecological impact on the human health, right?
Yes. Yes.
So ecological impact on the human health. So what is happening? There's a lot of research which I can discuss with you some other time. That we have taken a lot of healthy people, those who are doing yoga, but not following the ecological practices.
Mm.
So the whatever the benefit they are getting from yoga is again reversing back into the disbalancing.
Yes, I understand that. Yes,
Okay,
that's very
so
important.
yeah, so the planet, any person do those who are practicing yoga, they have to understand the ecological balance as well, and
Understood.
synchronize your body balance with the planet balance.
That's very important learning for me today here.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
enlightening. Yes,
Yeah,
thanks.
thank you.
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
So all these products that we are using, they're filled up with chemicals. Do they harm the environment?
See, anything which is not natural, like the message today is, nature has its own, right? Question come back to Dilip question, like local farming. So there are two things happen in local thing. One is Hong Kong has a very high acid rain. Acid rain means like a lot of acid fall from the air and make the soil acidic. So when the soil is very acidic, it's a natural kind of thing. So you cannot have a lot of like beautiful vegetables and all those kind of things. And that is why you see the greenhouse, right? Greenhouse, like the environmental control chamber, and then you grow inside because you cut down from the external environment. But you cannot have a mass level of production, right? You can have only a little production. When we are putting a lot of chemical, so it's like that, that's what happened. The first chemical, the urea, was invented somewhere around 1970s, like 65, 67. And by 1970, it was full-fledged used in agriculture. And the farmers were so happy because like by using urea, they increase the productivity. But once they increase the productivity, they say like a lot of like insects are coming and starting in the feeding into the crops. So the insect started like destroying the crops. So then they have to invent another chemical to kill the insect. So first is the chemical to increase the productivity. When the productivity increased, all the insects started coming in. So they have to create the another kind of like the uh, chemical, which called the pesticides, right? So pesticide in the pest. So pest is a one category, right? Then when the crop grow started growing, there's another group came in, which is insect. So then we have to develop the insecticides. So that's what happened. Like in common language, we don't talk about it, but in technically, we have a fertilizer, we have a pesticides, we have insecticides, we have an antifungal, we have antiviral. There's so many chemicals out there because it's all like it's such a layer, such a complicated process. Agriculture farming is such a complicated process that to bring a certain kind of like rice to you finally as a safe crop, it has to treat it by so many chemicals. But what happened in last 30 years when they treated the chemical started going into the land and started sitting in the land. And over the time, what happened? The land become infertile. So right now, the world 80% land is infertile. It's not suitable for agriculture purposes. And therefore, few years back, like somewhere around 2000 or before millennium, the whole world came together and they say every country need to dedicate at least 20 to 30% of farming without chemicals. And that's where the birth of organic farming. So organic farming is nothing to do with safe food. Organic farming is the initiation by the government to protect the farming land. Okay, so now we have like by organic farming, some lands are free of chemicals, and there's a procedure that there's a 3 years it takes to free the chemicals. Okay, so in general, all around the world, all the lands are really, really infected with chemicals because of the wrong agriculture practice.
So, which means that the food that we are actually eating poisonous.
No, toxic.
Toxic. Yeah, it's toxic. Like something came to my mind when you said that there's so many chemicals that they're using to produce vegetables and so on, that the field itself has become infertile. So something just came to me that if we keep putting so much toxics in our body, and that is why there's a lot of infertility happening these days. A lot of health problems are happening these days.
In my beginning of my talk, I already talk about like I give a lot of like a seminar on extinction of the human species. So why the extinction of human species? Because there's a lot of scientific research like the sperms are getting infertile. So the last 20-30 years, the human sperms are declining its fertility rate very fast. So there is a projection that in 20-30 years time period, what happens if the human sperm become 100% infertile? It means there's no more baby. So that's why there's a lot of like new companies came in and they started conserving or preserving the sperms. Okay, so these are the lot of things happening, but again, this is the kind of like a fancy scientific fiction kind of things, like okay, out of 7 billion people, like maybe 200,000 richest people on this planet, or those who are financially capable, again will start the life, so they are like preserving their resources and all those kind of things. So answer is yes.
Wow. So that is why we are seeing more and more diseases happening. We're seeing so much. Yeah, I mean, suddenly we see young people getting cancer, so many people not being able to become pregnant, and hormonal changes are happening. Um, all these things are, yeah. So just,
Uh, as per the global report, research report, 80% of the disease are the foodborne, okay, is coming from our food. That's what we have to understand. So the whole idea is why we are still here, because our body is very stable. Like, and many people are doing like Sangeeta mentioned, you mentioned, those who are doing the yoga things, those who are doing like good eating habit, many other things, they're at least like preparing their body to fight with all the odds. So now there is a other kind of people, those who are not taking care of the body, right? So everything bad happening in the environment, they are the first line of the victim. That's what happening.
yeah, that's another very big topic to talk on, no?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Does anybody else have a question? I think,
I have a question, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon.
So nowadays we are now familiar with
Ah,
biodegradable.
okay. Dilip, can you mute your
I can delete. I can mute.
okay. Dilip, can you mute for a second? So she's asking the question, so it will not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, please. Now.
Okay. Nowadays we are very familiar with the biodegradable materials, especially for packaging. So some research says that it is dangerous. What is true about this, Doc?
Means what you want to know exactly. Like,
If biodegradable materials has chemicals that affects the human, or it is safe for us?
see again, the concept like there is a chemical, there is no chemical. Okay. So that's the first thing. So rule number one is you have to choose a stuff with no chemical.
Okay.
Then you have to go biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Okay. So imagine that you chose non-chemical, non-biodegradable. So at least you have done a little bit damage to the planet and yourself. Okay. But if you choose like a chemical and non-biodegradable, then it's a worst case scenario. But non-chemical, non-biodegradable, slightly better. Non-chemical and fully biodegradable is the best choice. So that's what say slowly people need to learn to become environmental friendly. Okay. So imagine that if you are health aware, you are environmentally aware, so your daily activities will take care of this two major issue all the time. You will be more careful, and you will develop over the time a kind of practice that not to do any environmental damaging activities, or able to reduce some of your activities which is damaging the environment. So then you can say like, hey, you have a beautiful life because you take care of your health, you take care of your planet health too.
Okay. Okay, na, thank you. So the lesson for today is we have to be more conscious on what we take, what is our daily activity, like that. Thank you for the knowledge you've shared with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dilip bhai, anything more?
Sanjay ji, can I ask?
Yes, please, Sangeeta ji.
Yes, you spoke about your 60 days wellness some program. So how does it go? Is it like some techniques or the talk?
Yeah.
How is based?
No, it's a technique. A guided paradigm shift, because you see, like we all have our own behavior,
Right.
and we have a behavior built on our own experience.
Right.
So now what is happening, like there are certain gap in the knowledge, which is like what some of the things I touched today. And then we say like, what is our cost to the planet?
Right.
So there is a procedure that we see like at per our current lifestyle, what is our cost to the planet? And then once we calculate, we put a 60-day program, 1 day, one kind of habit correction. It's basically a habit correction process. Okay. And then like after 60 days, you again do the cost or your burden to the planet. And then you will find, wow, you have reduced so much. So then what happened, like what we have noticed, as I said, like at the beginning of my talk, I'm a very hardcore, my whole life dedicated in that. So that's why I don't own a car. I married on like Environmental Day. I have one child and so many things I have done. So I have a group of these people around the world who are, you can say, on a mission to basically inspire the world to have like something more sensible. And as you keep hearing this, our life is okay, but what we are going to give to our children, right? So what kind of planet we are handing over to them? So once we reduce our eco burden, we can say, hey, at least we lived a guilty-free life. Not only guilty-free life, but we live like a beautiful life to have proudly hand over to the good planet to our children, our grandchildren.
Yeah.
So it's a very designed program. Yes.
So like how many hours in a day? Like, so you will give us and something and we practice at home, something like
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So it could be online as well.
It can be online, and it is like a lot of assessment in between, because it's like a behavioral analysis and the behavioral shift.
Understand, yes.
Yeah. So it's more about to deal with the behavior. So it's a knowledge, behavior analysis, correction of the behavior, and then again the assessment.
Lovely.
So it's 3-4 process going. A beautiful program. Like a lot of people, like I would say, like I have like so far help over 5 million people in last 30 years around the world on this particular program. Uh, yeah, means like not one or two people, huge number of people. We have a group around the world. We work with the government. We work with like real government is very keen on that. And in fact, like this particular book, we show that, and anyone is interested, please join my organization with this. This is a global organization called the Zero Waste. I will take some of the talk some other day. It's all about creating the waste material, right? So how much we are creating waste on every day. So because this plastic pollutions, waste pollution, like this Lohas Park, right? Everyone goes, we all heard about Lohas Park in Hong Kong, right?
I don't have much knowledge about that, sorry.
Lohas Park is the residential area, Sangeeta, in East Kowloon side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a residential area, and it's a like a lot of Indian community. It's like a cheapest place in Hong Kong to live right now, and it was the waste dumping yard before.
Okay.
So if you go there, you can still have a very bad smell.
Oh.
Now that, yeah, so the thing is, you see how the humanity work. They said, okay, now convert the dumping yard into the residential area. Without thinking like all this dirty stuff which they have dumped there, it is in the system of the land there, landfill.
Oh.
Okay. And then all the bad chemicals, because see, when you put all sort of like bad stuff into the land, it takes years and years to degrade. And during the degrading process, they release a lot of bad stuff and go and mix into the air.
Right.
So the people, those who are living in that area, may not have a good health. It will come to know like in 5 to 10 years time period. So these are the awarenesses there. So on the same topic, I want to add one more information. The Hong Kong is planning like Singapore called incinerator. Okay, they want to burn the waste. Okay, but then again the incinerator has a problem because they want to put in a Lama Island. That if there is a toxic waste, the fume of toxic waste should not come to the Hong Kong and breathe by the people like you and me, and we get like some kind of problem. So there's a lot of complicated issues going on, but it's a very interesting field to learn about it, which is an added value to the health.
Lovely. Thank you so much once again. Very enlightening.
Yes,
So-
Dilip bhai. Dilip is asking something. Unmute.
Do you think the recycling business will be good?
That's the future.
Okay.
That's the future. And like anyone is thinking about what to do in India, I would say like, the best business right now is the bamboo farming. Okay.
Okay.
Because the future, everything is going to replace by bamboo. Because what has happening, like when you cut the trees,
Okay.
so trees has a lot of impact, ecological impact.
Mhm.
And bamboo actually it takes only 2 to 3 years to grow, and bamboo is a much stronger than the steel. Okay, so that's a
Okay.
new science coming up. Like a lot of stuff around the world, there's a bamboo textile, there's a bamboo for cutleries, there's a bamboo everything. So bamboo is the new way to go in the world without damaging to the environment.
So let's start in Hong Kong.
Yeah, why not? Like bamboo plantation is like, means China is like one of the top in the bamboo. Like, the pandas like live in the bamboo. The whole Kunming area is
Oh,
filled with
yeah.
bamboo. China is well advanced in the bamboo technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is why a lot of like hotels, they are changing their textile from a normal textile to the bamboo textile. Because again, today I'm just
Okay.
the human behavior. So I didn't go into the lot of environmental issue kind of thing. But cotton farming and cotton-based garments are one of the worst environmental damaging industry. Okay, so
Really?
yeah, exactly. So textile industry is considered #1 environmental damaging industry. So textile industry is shifting on bamboo. Lot of other industries are shifting. There's a lot of recycling business in Chunkwano. If you are interested, I can give you the visit. There's so many small recycling unit, like styrofoam. Styrofoam is those foam kind of things for the packaging material people use, right? So people are throwing in the water, people are throwing in the garbage. So there's a lot of companies in Hong Kong. I know more than 100 companies in Hong Kong. They collect it and they recycle it. And from that, you can make a different kind of products.
Let's talk more on recycling later.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for all the information.
Sanjay, also one more question. Like, so listening to all these things, and it looks like a village kind of living, which we used to have olden days. Like, as you say, you are living in Manoshan. Is that like where they self-grow, and if possible, one should do that?
See, that's exactly what is happening. Like, I have a very good friend. His name is Tomo. He's a Japanese guy. With him, I put one zero waste retail store in Italy. Okay, and the name of that retail store is 1964. That's my year of birth. The message is that we have to go back in time.
Right.
We have to go back in time. Like if you see your life 40 years back, 30 years back, we were doing all good things in our life. Somehow we lost those things, like remember that like this we in Hindi we used to say pura, like the news recycling of the newspaper.
Yes.
So there's no like they use the newspaper and to make that pura, and then when we go to the grocery store, they used to give us the material inside that pura, right? So there's a lot of recycling example we have. India was one of the best example in the world. Still we have eating on the banana leaves, Another things we call it pattal. I don't know what is the word in English, but in Hindi we call it, you know, like bidi,
Yeah.
cigarette bidi.
Yes, yes, yes. Bidi, yes.
Yeah, so bidi is made for, it's called the tendu, tendu leaf. It's a very big rubber kind of leaf. They dry the leaf and then they make like the bidi from that leaf.
Right.
But then the same leaf is used to make the pattals and dona. You know,
Right.
like this, the
Yes, yes.
dry leaf, like, right. So India has a lot of this kind of things, but now what people are doing, they are having a mold. So previously it was a cottage industry. So people were like the village
Do it
women
by hand.
used to like, yeah, do by hand. But now we have a kind of a mold. So you can have like a molded leaf plate.
Yes, oh, yes.
Yeah. So the idea, my suggestion is, whenever you or anyone else in this room try to do like a big event or seva event, there's a lot of things available in India. Use those kind of stuff. And with Jofin also, Jofin, the Philippines is very well advanced on environmental activities. Okay, people don't know about Philippines, but Philippines is a very well known in the world by taking a lot of good initiative in the environmental field. So learn it, and then if you like this, I don't mind to have welcome all of you to get involved into this particular area. This is a beautiful area, and then we do a lot of activities throughout the year, and you can learn a lot, and you can help other people to inspire them also.
One more question. You said we can use the pattal, but as it's going through some chemicals, like they are reforming it, they are shaping it. So does it have again an impact?
No, I can tell you, like, means I can tell you the without chemical one. As I said, there's a lot of choices, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
those who are like,
We can search without
exactly. So we have a lot of stuff where no chemicals involved. Or there's a one more thing I can use the word. It's called the safe chemical or washable chemical.
Right.
So chemical word is not dangerous. I
Safe.
would like to use the word. I think like you started using the new word called, I'm not using a harmful chemical.
Right.
Okay, because
Yeah.
everything is chemical around us. So there is a washable chemical, there is a safe chemical.
Right.
The plant-based chemical. So these are all safe, you know. So
Okay.
harmful chemical, need to avoid the harmful chemical.
I think one day we need to have the list of all those things which because you must have already researched, and like which are already the plant-based chemicals and which we should be eating, and where to find out those things will be very helpful.
No, definitely. See, I already told Veena, I discuss with Dilip time to time, like if in your organization, like with Veena, if you guys want to enlighten other people, I have all the information. This is a very important information. Good news is, Hong Kong is one of the best place in the world in this kind of awareness. The local people have so much, we have everything available. This industry is so advanced in Hong Kong, you will be amazed to see when you come to know. And I don't mind to introduce a lot of different kind of people in this particular area.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Very enlightening.
Okay, so I think it is 6:45, and I think we should let Dr. Sanjay go and enjoy his day.
Yes, all the best.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this talk. It's been very enlightening, and we will be seeing more of such products or things available here at Naveda, because that's Naveda's core value as well. To make sure that everything that we bring in is environmental friendly and it's safe, and everything is, so we are also trying to work very hard together with Dr. Sanjay to make sure that we make it available for everybody. And we learn.
Sorry, very, very quick question. Sangeeta, from you, like, how was the thing today?
Sorry, how was the?
How was the information today? It's different, right?
No, it's very valuable. It's apart from being different, is very I think every human being needs to know this kind of information.
Good.
It's
So-
like it's very important to be moving to as many people and as quick here. Not only like we cannot just sit hand on hand, and we should come together. We are happy to be. We are part of you. We are happy to do something, whatever we can do together. Because sooner the better.
Definitely, that's so
Yes.
nice.
Lovely.
Thanks, Sangeeta. Dilip, what is
Yeah.
your take? What is your take on that? Like what you heard today?
I think I have learned a lot, and I will focus on many recycling things.
Good.
And
Okay, so there's a way.
I will
to-
discuss with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Veena, finally, like what
Sure,
is like?
I took positive.
Great. Thank you, Veena. What
Yes.
is your like means, because it was like something different today, as I said, and something very meaningful.
Like Sangeeta ji,
So,
that this knowledge should not just remain with very few people, and especially the Indian community is very not aware in this in this aspect. So we really need to bring a lot of awareness, and we should do it in a united way so that we can reach to more people faster. The sooner it is, because we can see that planet Earth is crying for help, and if we don't help her, we are going to be destroyed. So time is running, and we need to really work together, united, and
okay, Veena, my slogan, I want to correct it.
Yeah.
We don't need to help the planet. We need to correct ourselves. Planet is giving us the warning. We have to correct ourselves. Otherwise, the planet will remove us.
So we
Right?
need to correct ourselves quickly, and we need to share this with people. Otherwise, it's like you have given us this responsibility. It's like giving, even those people who have been given this knowledge are now responsible. Now the responsibility, if we don't take responsibility to share this, then in fact we are stupid. You know?
My final just a feedback I want to take from all of you. There's a one topic I always do, which is a very serious topic. As I mentioned to you, the topic is the extinction of the human species. Would you be all interested to hear that sometime? Because this is a pure scientific thing, and which is projecting. It's not a fiction. It's nothing based on conspiracy theory, but it's a very real scientific projection that we are the second last generation on this planet, and we will have 1 or 2 generation more, and then we are gone, the human species. So if this topic interests to you, I could put like a lot of like scientific fact in front of you, so at least you are aware. You can explain your friends, you can bring your friends. It's a very, very enlightening topic.
So I'm sure that we can work together with Sangeeta ji to really create something big and really make people aware.
Yeah, so it's just a feedback saying like a lot of interesting idea is here, and then we synergize the human health and the planet health together. So that's the message here. So that's it, right? So thank you very much, all of you, right? So have a
God
great
bless.
day.
God bless.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.